in the same way that you start telling Brady roast jokes 2 months later, it sounds awful, right?
Right.
When you're telling roast jokes outside of the roast,
Yeah.
it doesn't sound great. It's like, they were offering me $30 million a year, and that is offensive to me. But when you put it in the scope of what a market value contract is for somebody of his production, notice I didn't say championship winning, but production.
He's also an older player.
Then I understand that he would find that offensive. Certainly when the Sixers are like, okay, we'll give you 4 for $212, with a up to $220, and we'll give you what you're looking for. The answer is sure. I'm just surprised the Clippers didn't just go all out and just give him whatever the hell he wanted. Like, what would be your holdback? I know what my holdback is always for Paul George is what has he won? And I know that sounds unfair because not everybody has won a championship. There's very few and far between. But it's not as if he hasn't had, he became a self-made man in Indianapolis, Indiana. Then he goes to Oklahoma City, decides to go to the Clippers instead of the Lakers, right?
Yep.
Remember that? Or he stayed. Remember he stayed in Oklahoma City. Right. Remember he was smoking cigars with Russ.
And then stayed.
He had like a party.
Then he wound up being Kawhi's handpicked,
Right.
Number two.
Running mate.
And I keep saying, what if the Clippers just decided to stay with SGA instead and sold Kawhi on SGA? What would have happened at that sliding door meeting in Malibu at Doc Rivers' pad?
Have SGA and Jalen Williams and a bunch of draft picks.
And so I understand that, but when it comes down to it, right now, this is the most decorated free agent and prize free agent that's out there, and you are opening a new arena here in town.
That's why I was a little surprised.
I was surprised to hear all this stuff today.
Well, you know what? Steve Ballmer obviously wasn't rich. He wasn't all in. Apparently.
Well, you could make that case. Or they're just sitting there saying, why are we going to put ourselves in some sort of a situation all capped out or whatever, luxury tax, aprons, all this business? I don't know. But it's just a bad business deal at the end of the day that they decided. And we'll just
You pay a 38-year-old Paul George $50 million a year?
I guess they decided that ain't it.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Well, they were about to for 3 years and then just didn't give him what he wanted for his fourth. To the point where the Sixers are sending a whole legion of folks saying, come out east. Now the question is, do you think this team could beat the Celtics?
Nope.
I don't think so either. Do you put the Sixers above the Knicks if Embiid is healthy?
If you're talking if everyone's healthy,
it's a super big if, man.
Think about what Embiid did. The guy with Bell's palsy, with a knee that was held together by Scotch tape, still averaged 35 points a game.
Pushed the Knicks to a game 7.
Aside of his face being paralyzed, right? And so now you add a Paul George to this and a healthy Embiid. The only problem is the healthy Embiid part. Which,
the happiest people today are the doctors of Philadelphia.
Well, the healthcare industry.
Paul George missed 8 games.
I will also offer
one time he played the whole season.
I will also offer pushback if you're talking about the Embiid shadow of his healthy self almost beating the Knicks in the playoffs.
I mean, you're playing.
They didn't have they didn't have Randall. They didn't.
Granted,
have a lot of health in that series.
But still, the man was unstoppable individually.
But you can't sit here and say Sixers aren't trying.
No, for sure.
They're better than they were yesterday.
They sure are.
Without him, so.
They sure are. So,
for sure.
That's the latest.
You want hope, right? That's all you want as a fan is you want hope. And now I look at this and I'm like, all right, well, I am a Tobias Harris fan. I've gone on record, but Paul is an upgrade from that. Now you're going to see the continued maturation of Maxey, who Brockman, you had him on your fantasy team. He was awesome. You know how good he was.
He's killer, man.
And and then Kelly Oubre, who, before Embiid got hurt, the two of them, I think, started the season off 11-1 when they were both in the starting lineup. So they made some good moves.
They did,
so
and they're better today than they were the day before. I'm just skeptical. First of all, I'm surprised that the Clippers didn't just give Paul George what he wanted. 2, I'm skeptical that this is actually putting them over the top of a Celtics team that's just running it back and then selling.
What more
How about that?
What more could they have done to close the gap? This was the best thing that they could do.
Of course,
to close that gap.
that is the best thing that they could do. And it's just fascinating to me.
And remember, Rich, when was the last time we had a repeat champion? It doesn't happen in the NBA.
It's fascinating to me that they sent Harden to the Clippers, and the big 3 there didn't materialize with a championship because Kawhi got hurt again. Now Harden gets a 2-year deal to stay with the Clippers. Paul George leaves to go where Harden was. And Kawhi today is getting a lot of praise and hosannas of how he looks for Team USA in the workouts. How's that one landing with you?
I mean, we're three months past the last time we played, too.
I hear you.
You know,
I hear you.
There's a lot of time to heal.
I'm just pointing out all of these facts.
But, you know, I've said this before. If Embiid and Kawhi can't finish the playoffs for their team, do they deserve to go to the Olympics? If I run these organizations, I might not want them to play in the Olympics. But what do I know?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.